not only taking yourself serious, understanding yourself is a serious task, is what they make us forget. Heck, teach us that it is not actually. The moment we are able to be human, meaning the moment you're 2-3 years old, right? Like you're now remembering, you're speaking, you're communicating, you're understanding, like you are, right? 3-4 years old, kindergarten starts, right? What are you being taught? I'm not against education, but we are being taught what? Earlier this morning I was realizing, they teach us to be around people. But the problem is that when you are around people that do not have the same vision as you, you are only infecting one another. You're just dulling one another. There's no benefit. It's actually pain. Right? And then when you're an adult, they tell you, oh, misery loves company. But that's what the fuck you taught me when I was fucking 4 years old. Right? The most important time of my life is spent in school. The most important time of my life, that is between age 4 or 5 years old up to 18. After 18, you are now ready to be a slave. What is that? What does it mean to be a slave? You are ready, right, to be willingly to stay confused. That's what it means. You're not going to think for yourself. If you cannot think for yourself, you will not have what you want. If you do not have what you want, you will not feel genuinely happy. If you do not feel genuinely happy, right? And what is a genuine happiness? That comes only from having a good relationship with life. What does it mean to have a good relationship with life? You are co-creating. Creating. There are a certain emotions a man needs to feel every day to live a good life, to have a good clear skin, to have a healthy gut health, to think clearly, right? The gut and the brain is connected. All these things that they make us feel that they're silly, or like we don't even think of it, right? You tell a person, you're confused, you can't make a decision, you can't choose what you want, you can't respect yourself, you can't respect what you want because you can't think clearly, and you can't think clearly because your stomach is too big. They will look at you like, what the fuck does my stomach got anything to do with me thinking, right? They don't. Why? Because like the important lessons in life are not being given to us. They're actually intentionally being taken away from us. That's what the Matrix is. To me, the Matrix is not people, right? It's this entity that is enemy for human beings, that is so jealous of human beings, right? Because it's not allowed to have a body, this beautiful creation that God created, right? So like it needs to linger, it needs to live through our body to exist. How does it get us? Through thoughts, frequency waves. Lower frequency thoughts, higher frequency thoughts. The higher, the positive your thoughts, the better you feel. It does not want us to understand that, right? So you fell for, we get trapped, right? By the way society, what we call society, is basically the Matrix, right? Like these entities that are living as human beings, right? Drunken people because of greed and power. They're not even happy. And then there's also the light, right? There are people helping us, those that basically changed my life. The Secret, the maker of The Secret documentary. All the ones that I came across after that, right? All those YouTube channels about the quantum physics, Infinite Water, Till Swan, that literally like cultivated me from the very beginning, right? And then after that, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, Oprah, right? All these books that I read that changed my life. Psycho-Cybernetics, Maya Angelou, right? Why the Cage Bird Sings. Like these books titles, I'm naming them because they are individual too. They're like, to me, books is like a person. basically talking to you, a good friend, right? So there are books that are intentionally written to confuse you, and there are books that are written to help you. But how do you continue to attract the book that is going to be helping you? Is by cultivating your thoughts to be positive. Gratitude, the number one fuel to feeling good. Right? But what do they teach us? Oh, we're only grateful when something happens. We only give gratitude when something happens. What happens after the age of 18? You learn so much. We have so much. Our neurological pattern for not having what we want, for being scared, for being helpless, for all the wrong things, for the all wrong feelings, is strengthened through experience. We have zero neurological pattern to the good emotions, to the important emotions that makes us feel special, to feel accepted, to feel great, to feel good, to feel lively. These are feelings that we are supposed to cultivate with words. Is how we create ourselves, right? So they teach us the power of our tongue doesn't mean anything, right? And it's all about what you believe. It's not about how many books is written. It's not about how great the person out there is talking to you, right? Unless you believe it, right? It won't change you. It's all about the individual evolution. But we are being taught the wrong way to be since childhood. But now, there's no excuse why it's called the internet. Who do you think created that for us? All man creations come from desire that comes from our creator. All great things that are created by man, everything that we use on a daily basis. It's like, right, the creator tells us, all right, you're ready for this, you're ready for coffee now, you're ready to enjoy, you need this now. Can you imagine if coffee was discovered back in the Moses days? Like, everybody would be jittering, no one is like focused. It's like right out there being eaten by the animals and shit, right? Tripping, right? Attracting all the wrong things. Right now it's like, oh, coffee becomes, right, even the level of pleasure. Right? You can't handle pleasure. That's why we have to respect the process of life. Right? When you are over here stressing, if you are in a stage of eating noodles that you can only handle noodles and shit, right? There's a reason why you have to respect and outgrow that stage. Right? If you're like, boom, instantly jump without being ready to eating tiramisu and fucking what is the most expensive dish, right? Cock. Cock is that's my what is it? The one of French dish, right? Like it's anyways, yeah, think of it like that. You're not gonna be able, like, again, what does that mean? People that win lottery, they say they become even more broke than they were when they win the lottery. Why? Because you're so stressed, you don't know what to do, because money is power. And power is basically, it can make you drunk if you're not ready for it. Right? Why do we get drunk? To feel powerful, right? To feel, it's like when you're tipsy, that feeling where none of the shit in your life exists when you're tipsy. That's why adults continue to get drunk, to feel that feeling. But then you can't stay tipsy. People don't know how to stop at the stage of tipsy. They must drink more, and they get drunk, and then you wake up, you don't remember half of the shit, so you go back, you have to drink again. Now you're fucking dependent on it, right? That's what drugs and alcohol or addiction does to you. But when you possess these feelings naturally, right, with process, you become significant to God. You become a vessel. You become a co-creator. Because our number one job on earth is to be service for one another. How I speak and what I speak is intentionally orchestrated by the universe to awaken the psyche of a certain someone. That's what we must respect. What is it that Eminem said? Out of a million, if one resonates. And then what did Tupac said? I might not be able to change the world, but what is it? But I bet you that I would spark the mind that's going to change the world. That's what we are here to do, spark the psyche within one another. Because what's in me is important for you. What's in you, it's important to me. There's power interest in where we're at, and that is the problem. They create all these distractions. That's how they get us. They make us our own enemies. You cannot stay still. Adults cannot stay still. Adults are living with the attention span of a 5-year-old. And that is the problem. That's it. It's like we are our own maker and our own breaker. Those who say I can and I can't are both equally correct. I build myself through the power of my mind. What was it Kanye West said? People are blinded and no, that's not the word he used, but by thoughts and perspective of themselves, by a perception of themselves. Cybernetics taught me that too. You cannot live a life that you cannot live in your mind. For example, right now, this designer, like what one of the luxurious, basically top 5-6 luxurious brands we have out there, right? Maybe 7. Bulgari is like, what the fuck? Like, where did this lady found me? Like, how did she come across to my page? That's how the universe works. It's magic. We are magic. But they teach us to sit here and to think and to entertain the impossible when it comes to receiving an idea. But the moment that desire comes to us, that is God's way telling us, here you go. This is who you are. God is literally telling us, this is you. But because of what we've been taught the first 18 years, whenever we receive an idea, we don't even say it out loud. Like how long it took me to say I'm a writer and I'm a designer. Because I entertained the idea of it not happening. And God is using me to help others. Now I'm like, 35? I still hold the same dreams. I'm still the same girl from high school. I still want the same thing since I was a child. I still have the same questions since I was a girl. And I'm learning that only I can answer it. Right? How far is the sky? Why do we die? Where do we go when we die? Why are there hungry people in the world? Why do people say the things that they say? Why do people think that... These are like questions that I've been asking when I was a child. Which made me, right? The outcast by society. My parents, the fucking priests, right? The people in the church. Because our secret lies in our childhood. Is in our childhood's interest. In our childhood's love. You see, that is when we were fresh. Before anyone persuade us otherwise. That is when the God version of us is fresh. Before it was polished with what the world has created for itself. For us to be. Right before we are mixed with society's rules and beliefs. And they do their best to make us forget childhood. After 18, you're already forced in the adulthood before even the frontal cortex is developed enough. I learned in psychology schools like human beings is the only creatures that takes longer than any creature out there to develop. Right? It's like, think about it. They don't tell us shit like this. I was like, what the fuck? That's why it makes sense. That's why it makes sense. We fucking fuck everything up about our life by the time we're 25. Because we're not even fully developed until 25. But the way they set up the age limit and everything is like to get us trapped. Especially women. I don't know any women my age that do not have a kid. And I do not know any woman at my age that have a kid and is not stressed. You know what I mean? Like, what is the point? Why do we continue to choose a life that does not make us happy when we are witnessing our older sisters, our older sisters' friends, our society, the people that we see Because right now, like, life, the internet is making us be one. Like, right, it's truly showing us that we are connected. It's like you cannot sit right now in this generation and be like, oh, I don't know anything. Right? Like earlier I was saying, the internet was invented because people were having babies, but we were like living life in the wrong way. We were going the wrong way. People are just coming here to fucking reproduce, just like animals. That's all we've been doing, reproduction. No one is really giving birth to themselves. And if you don't give birth to yourself, you ain't really doing shit. You're just a fucking burden to society. You're a burden, and then you give birth to a burden. You're stressed, so right? I'm not saying, oh, a poor person should not have a baby. There are so many poor people that are happy, that are rich in life. I'm kind of self-contradicting, but when I say poor, I'm saying like in a way, because my version of rich is like palace and castle and shit, Porsche and shit, right? Because I want luxury, but you don't have to live like that. There are people that live in small towns doing great for planet Earth, right? People in Utah, they're like a different type of species. Even their colors, like the white people's skin that you see in Utah is way different than the rest of the world. They're very beautiful people because the culture is different, right? So it's about being rich spiritually. It's about being rich in your state of mind, right? You understand life. If you understand life, that means you understand yourself. If you understand yourself, yes, why not? Give birth to something that is going to be beneficial to the world. But people are like confused, but they give birth. So what are you doing? You're giving birth to another confused entity, or human being. Right? That doesn't mean he's never gonna be healed, but what are the chances? Because this child is now growing up to unlearn all the bullshit that he's going to be learned. He's already ready to learn. He comes to be taught all the wrong things. And then maybe if he's lucky enough in adulthood, right, he will learn to unlearn and then learn what he needs to learn. But why are we wasting this process? Why are we wasting time doing this process when we could just be taught the right things from the beginning? Be a whole, healthy human being, co-creating. Because we are all given a certain interest instilled in us when we are born through our DNA that is different as our faces, right? And this creator is not out of ideas. It does not run out of ideas, right? It does not run out of faces, right? When is the last time you saw your face in another face, right? It's exactly like someone that looks like, oh my god, I guess two of us, right? That doesn't happen. Just like that, we have a secret puzzle within us that is supposed to be a service to another. Respect where you're at. There's a reason. There's a reason why you are not enjoying what you're enjoying, because it's teaching you what you enjoy without having a preference, without having a choice. There's no point of you even coming across to the life that you say you want, because you won't be able to handle it. And what's the point if you're gonna let it go within days of receiving it, right? The example of lottery winners. What's the point? You have to align and attract it. When that happens, hey, you get to hold on to what you have and you continue to co-create it. You continue to live a good life. What is a good life? A good life comes from, again, having what you want. They tell us that, it's almost is a joke. 90% of adults walk around, they will look at you like you're crazy. What you mean? Who do you know that lives what they want? Yeah, it's true. That's all they know. Because they don't even aspire to see outside of their own problems. And how can they? Because you can only afford to live a certain place. You can only afford to shop at a certain place, right? I've been around African Americans almost my whole life, the majority of my life in America. How nervous they get to be around white people. How nervous they get to be in downtown and shit like that. To eat at high-end restaurants. They don't even want to be in downtown area. I remember when I lived in Columbus, Ohio. And I cherish downtown. I flourish in downtown. Imagine, look at the fear. They just want to be in the hood. They want to eat hot wings and, right, have their tequila shots or whatever and have a Budweiser in their community, in their area. They don't even feel comfortable being around downtown. right? It's like, it's crazy. But it's all about in the mind, because they know how to trap you. If you're trapped in your own mind, if you're distracted in your own mind, that's it. That's what slavery is, being trapped in your own. They used to do it physically, but that had to stop. But my point is, it's also note to self, respecting where you're at in life. Stop fighting. Like, as I'm editing a book that I written 5 years ago, the page that I am currently editing, like, perfectly aligns with what I'm going through right now. Obviously, it has to help me first, right? I have to help myself first. The title is called What is in Charge of Your Life, right? Although I was a vessel in 2020 to receive this book and to already write it, but to edit it, look at how long it took me. And I just finished at the end of last year. Anyways, I was in school with my psychology degree. But like, this year went by like, like a fucking wind. Right? But all these like breadcrumbs that are like popping on my reality right now aligns with exactly like the pages that I am currently working on, with the chapters that I'm currently working on. Because this is how it works. You have to be mentally ready. There was a reason why I had to hold on to this book for 5 years. It was in the publishing. I thought it was ready, and I even paid like half of what I was expected to pay, but it's been stuck in the publishing book for 2 years now. No, 3 years. I think it was in 2023 when I said I used my no, I think it was 2020 for my last year refund, school refund. I paid it for a publisher that I can't even afford. But just look at how the process goes. Right? The problem is that we think we're ready to be where we want to be. What's the point if you're going to be laughed at? Like, you want to be in a spot and you're shaking and you're like, you can't even hold the crowd straight. That's an insult for those who are around you to begin with. Why? Because they fucking worked there. They deserve to be there. So how dare you complain? But that's how they teach us to complain about life, because no one gets what they want. Dreams are a joke. We got responsibility. A grown-ass man said that to me. I'm looking at him like, wow. He said, what are you talking about dreams? I got responsibility. Like, as if my dream is not a responsibility. You see how they fucking trick us? They trick us. They teach us all the wrong things. When in fact, our number one responsibility is to figure out who we are by understanding what we are.